What's up? Welcome back to Columbia Auto Service. This is Brian. I guess I'm gonna do another video on misfires, because ever since I've done the misfire, tried to figure out the misfire on that Dodge Hemi, everything this week's got a misfire on it. This Buick Rider's got a misfire on it. It had a misfire on cylinder number 4 when it came in, and today is Wednesday. Next week is the week of Thanksgiving, and I'm closing the shop for that week because I've got some personal business I've got to go take care of. So I was trying to kind of get some stuff taken care of, and so the vehicles wouldn't be here all week while I was closed. Well, this lady brought this Buick in Monday, said it was, well, she brought it, had it towed in over the weekend, said it had the stability track light on, the check engine light was flashing. So I got it in, had a misfire on cylinder number 4, under a load. I swapped it to number 6 in a hurry, which I shouldn't have done. Swapped it to number 6. The misfire moved to number 6. It was definitely a bad coil. So I got it changed out. Sent her on her way. Well, it's a comeback, because it's still missing. It's got another misfire. When it's cold, because after it got warmed up that day, the misfire was gone. I took care of that misfire because it had a bad coil. Well, she come got it that afternoon, got it up the next morning, got it, cranked it while it was cold, and it started missing and running rough, and the stability track light come back on, and she called me. Oh, it's still doing it. Oh, Mr. Brian. So I said, well, bring it back down and see what's going on. And well, I just went out there and cranked it up. Sure enough, when it's cold, as soon as you crank it up, it's got a bad misfire to it. Fuel trim shooting up to like 30. So I'm not sure. We probably got an intake leak on this thing, vacuum leak somewhere. So I'm going to let it cool back down. I'm going to do a smoke test on it just to see if that's what it is. It may not be what it is, but I'm thinking that's maybe the way it's acting now. It may have, I also had 2 problems with the misfire. But anyway, then we had another misfire here on a 2009 Dodge Journey. It's still in the shop because I've got to do valve cover gaskets on it if I get all these other misfires took care of. So anyway, it had a misfire on number 6. I swapped them, and it moved over here, so I changed it out, got a brand new coil on it. Now, I have not had a chance to test it. The misfire went away sitting there at idle, but so did that one. But I want to get the valve cover gas. It may be after Thanksgiving before I get to that one, but anyway. And then another lady came in. Let me get that telephone. That's somebody I need to talk to. All right, that was the Opus IVS. I got a programming issue going on out in the cold weather. It's below 50 today in South Mississippi. That's kind of cold around here. But anyway, my programming tool is acting funny. You know, normally I just plug it in. I set up an appointment. They call me and they go in through the tool and do my programming for me. So that way I've got a chance to work on all this other stuff that we've got going on here. And I'm not stuck at a programming issue. But anyway, something's going on with that tool. They told me to turn it off and let it sit for 5 minutes and we'll reboot it. And if that doesn't fix it, I'm going to have to send it in, let them fix it, or they're going to have to give me another one. But anyway, we're back on a misfire here on this Toyota. The lady had brought it in, said she took it by O'Reilly's or AutoZone or one of them places, aftermarket places that'll scan it and tell you what's wrong with your car. Somebody that works behind the counter all day. Anyway, I think they told her to put some fuel treatment in it. Told her she needed this and that. Well, none of that fixed it. So here she is. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I got the vehicle in. It's a 2011 Toyota Corolla with a 1.8 engine in it. It's got 185,517 miles on it. I did manage to hook my scan tool up to it, but I have not got any further than that on it. So let's see if we got a misfire code, or we got a fuel trim code, or if we can figure out what's going on with this Toyota. So it's a USA Toyota. It is a Corolla. What year did I say it was? I don't remember. A 2011. 2011. Runs rough when taken off. Without smart key. And nothing ever is fast enough. Cylinder 3 misfire. Bank 1 air-fuel ratio imbalance. Cylinder 3 misfire. Bank 1 air-fuel ratio imbalance. Okay. Well, let's go back. See if we can get some data up here. What kind of data they gonna give us? What kind of data are they gonna give us? They're gonna give us not much. Air fuel learn value. I need an air fuel ratio. Fuel trim. Fuel trim. I need fuel trim. How about some fuel trim? Cat off MFFC cylinder 1. What does that mean? Misfire cylinder 1? No, that's not what that means. I would like to see some misfire data on a Toyota. Cylinder 1 misfire count. Look at there. There we go. All right, let's see which one's misfire. No misfire count. I definitely feel it misfire. Well, our scan tool is going to be worthless on this. No misfire data. So we're gonna have to go old school on it. I wish I could find fuel trim, because it's idling awful high. I gotta go out here and plug my tool back in on my programming thing. I forgot about that. It's supposed to be 5 minutes. All right, got it all plugged back in. Let's see what happens. Oh, it might work now. Oh, it says it's updating the driver. Okay, maybe we got something. All right, well, their software technician's supposed to call me back. So when he calls me back, we'll go out there and look at it and let him do whatever he needs to do. That's out of my job description. All right, back on our misfiring Toyota. It's idling about 1700, but I can definitely feel it missing. So I want to know which cylinder it is. So I want to know which cylinder it is. I'm just going to unplug each one of them and see if they misfire changes. We'll start out with number 3 since that's the one that was set in the code. Definitely got a high idle for some reason. Probably need to address that first. It didn't change. Well, maybe a little bit. I changed a lot on number 2. Had a big change on number 1. A big change on number 4. Not much of a change when you unplug number 3 though. So we definitely got a misfire on number 3. But it's idling awful high. And we got an air fuel ratio code. Now what do you focus on first? Focus on the misfire. Focus on the high idle. Focus on the air fuel ratio code. The misfire, if it had a bad coil or a bad plug or a bad fuel injector, it wouldn't cause a high idle. If it had a vacuum leak, will a vacuum leak cause a high idle? Normally not. Well, maybe so, you know. Because it's sucking more air in, it's spitting more fuel in, it's wanting to race and run more, so maybe we need to do a smoke test on this one too. But anyway, I think I'm going to go look at data first, see if we can find any data on the fuel trim. All right, well, Opus Service just called me back. So our tool's good to go now. Back on our misfire once again. All right, well, I found us some fuel trim. Short-term fuel trim, 3.125, so that's good. And it is idled down. It was just cold and it had a high idle on it while it's cold. I think we just need to focus on that number 3 cylinder misfire. Still no misfire count. It says cylinder 1 misfire 0, 0 on number 2, 0 on number 3, and 0 on number 4. So since it's idled down again, I think I want to go check misfires one more time on these coils. See what kind of change we get now. Number 3, no change. Number 2, big change. I think we just need to do the swap-a-rooney. Or the swap-a-roni. Ha! Oh, and I forgot, we even had a misfire last week on the old Toyota, didn't we? After we changed that, found that aftermarket security system on it. It was leaking oil over in the valve, in the spark plug wells. So it's been misfires after misfires here lately. All right, let's see what happens. Sounds like you got a weak battery too, or a bad connection somewhere. All right, let's try number 2. We swapped 3 and 2. Yep, bad coil. Now when I pull the number 2 coil plug in, it changes not. Pull the number 3 coil and then we get to change. All right, where y'all going? All right, so she needs an ignition coil to take care of her misfire problem. I think I'll check this battery too. And I'll look it over real good, see if I see anything else. Well, her battery just wants to be recharged before it'll give me a good test or test it. So we're gonna put a battery charger on that. I've checked the oil looks good, the antifreeze looks good, the belt looks good. That's one of the most overlooked things on a vehicle is the belt. So you always want to check the belt because nobody else is gonna check it. And then the brakes look good, front brakes look good. That tire looks low, I'll add some air to it. Rear brakes are drums, so we're not gonna pull that apart and check it. Front thing here is loose, but we don't do body work. Anyway, so yeah, I think she can get away with just a coil. And then I would like to go test drive it and see. It's always good to do a test drive to find out what kind of shape they're in, because we want to know, oh, check it over. Well, I need to go drive it. But before I can go drive it to check it out, it needs to not be missing like it is. So we need to put an ignition coil in it. And I wonder what those spark plugs look like. I guess I could pull one of those spark plugs and we'll look at it and see what it looks like before we sell her just a coil. All right, I got that spark plug loose. Let's get it up out of there and see what it looks like. It looks pretty original to me. I think we'll offer her a set of spark plugs and a coil, and then we'll charge this battery, see how it acts. All right, our battery's been charged and it's overcharged. It's charged. It charged up for about 30 or 45 minutes. Let's check it now. Oh, I turned it back on. It says you got a bad battery. So, all right, I'll get her a price on a battery, 4 plugs, 1 ignition coil, and I'll let her know I need to go test drive it, see if there's any other issues while driving. And then we'll go from there. And with the reason it's misfiring, it's got a bad ignition coil. Anyway, I went ahead and checked the ignition coil, it's bad. And then the spark plugs, I pulled one of them out. The spark plugs look like they may even be the original plugs. I don't know if they've ever been changed out. So I think we need to change out the 4 spark plugs and the 1 ignition coil. It's got 4 ignition coils, but I think we can get by with just changing that 1 out. And sometimes they go out one right after the other, and sometimes they last for a while, you know, before another one will go out. But anyway, to change out those 4 plugs and that ignition coil, you're gonna be looking at $311. And then the only other thing I noticed on it, when I try to start, it's kind of had a little bit of a hesitation to start. So I charged the battery up and checked it, and the battery's testing bad on it. Okay, that's going to add another $188 to it. That's going to put you at $499. And the only other thing I noticed, I mean, everything else looks good. All the fluids look real good on it. The brakes look good on it. And it's got a low tire there on the passenger front, which I'm just going to be able to add some air to it. And then and then once I get this done, I'll go drive it, make sure it's drivable and all that good stuff. But I think it's going to be all right. All right, we'll put some spark plugs and a coil and a battery and a little air in the tire. My tire machine's broke down, so I don't have any. I'm not going to repair it now, and I'm out of the tire business. All right, I got the ignition coil, 4 spark plugs, and 1 battery for this Toyota Corolla for the misfire problem and the problem I found with it not wanting to start. So I'll go ahead and get these 4 plugs, this coil changed out, and this battery changed out real quick, and we'll check and make sure our misfire is going away, and then we'll go do a test drive. All right, now all we gotta do is get our battery secured in there, get it connected, put us a couple of protectors on these terminals. We'll be ready to put some fire to it, see what happens. Let me get a deep socket. Oh, that fits a lot better. Let's see if we can get any tighter on that. Oh, I like that. All right. All right. Let's make sure we got it all done. Spark plug put in there, coil tightened down, plug tight, coil tight. Brand new battery, protectors on it tight, strap back on it tight. Everything else under here looked okay. I did not check the air filter, but all the fluids were good. The belt was good. The brakes were good. We had a low tire over here, so before we go on our drive, we need to put a little air in that tire. That one may be a little squatty. What? That didn't last long. Tire lights flashing at me, let me know I got a low tire. Well, let's put some air in it and see if that tire light will quit flashing at us. Yeah, it had 21 pounds in it. $35, that ought to get us down the road. I'm gonna go ahead and check all of them. This one's got 21 in it too. 35.5, we can ride on that. All right, let's go check the other two. I gotta remember to put my cover back on there because they have been forgotten. 20 in this one too. They're all about the same, so I'm just gonna blame it on cold weather. 35, let it ride. $24 in this one. $35, let's ride. Well, the tire light flashed for a while when I got started driving and it quit. So it's still on, so it must have a bad sensor. But my tire machine's not working right now, so I'm actually out of the tire business, so I can't break a tire down to change the sensor. I do have the tool to check the sensors now, but my tire machine's down, so we won't worry about that. But the little Toyota's driving good and doing good. All right, that's gonna be all for this little Toyota 2000, what was it, 11 Toyota Corolla with 1.8. It's a good little car. The lady was concerned there was gonna be something major wrong with it, but she ended up getting by with an ignition coil and some spark plugs. And she wanted me to check it out. It seems like a good look. That's gonna be all, but we still got this Buick in here that's in the shop. It's got the Misfire we were working on earlier. We did a smoke test on it. I went ahead and swapped the spark plug. It's still, when it's cold, it just does it when it's cold. Once it gets warmed up, it runs fine. Which would make me think of an intake manifold gasket, because when it's cold and hard, it may leak a little bit, and then as it warms up to temperature, it kind of, the seal kind of, the rubber O-ring or rubber intake gasket kind of seals up and seals itself off. But I did a smoke test and it was solid. There was no intake leak at all on that thing. So then I got to looking at my codes in the Buick. It had the Misfire code, it had some oxygen sensor codes, and it also had another code. So I got to look at those oxygen sensor codes and that other code, and I think I got something going on with one of those other codes causing it to misfire. But anyway, I got to let it, I ran it a while ago off camera and kind of got a little idea about what's going on. So anyway, I've got it sit. I'm gonna let it sit overnight, and in the morning I'm gonna come back and try my little theory on this other code that's set. And it's nothing to do with a misfire, but it can cause hard starts and it can cause it to run rough at times. And I almost overlooked it, so I'm gonna try to look at that in the morning. I've got it disconnected right now, so we're gonna let it sit all night with this thing disconnected, start it up in the morning and see how it acts. But anyway, that's gonna be on the next video. We're through with this video for today. I appreciate you for watching. I hope you've made it all the way to the end of this video. If you would, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. But anyway, we appreciate you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.